Hi everybody, and welcome to this chair yoga class. We are starting by bringing the hands onto our chest and stomach. I should also say we are sitting on a chair. And close your eyes and just listen to your breath, to the sound of your breath, and to the way that you can feel it in your upper body. And as always, we want to make sure there is actual movement in the belly. That's how we know that we're breathing deep breaths. We are getting that efficient exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And then bring your hands gently behind your head. Eyes can be closed, of course, and start moving into your neck. Doesn't matter how, just needs to be comfortable for you. Smaller movements, especially if you've got neck issues. And then drop your left ear to the left shoulder, shoulders relaxed, they don't creep up towards that ear. And just hold there. It doesn't have to be far, it just needs to be right for you, it needs to give you that feeling of stretching into the right side of the neck and down the shoulder, and then chin towards the collarbone, maybe with a hand behind the head, but that's optional. And you could also go a little bit further towards your armpit and just testing a little bit where you are comfortable, where you feel a good stretch. Both hands behind the head, chin to chest. And slowly release. A little bit of movement to make sure you're not tensing up. And then we do the other side, so dropping the right ear to the right shoulder and holding there, relaxing the hands, the shoulders, the arms. And bring the chin towards the collarbone or armpit, helping out with a hand if you want. Just making sure you're in the right place. And only you can know where that is. We're holding for long enough to make sure that that tension actually does go away. And we're stretching effectively. And then chin to chest this time, rounding the back, bringing the elbows towards your hips. So trying to make yourself as round here as you can. Then slowly coming up. And bring your left ankle on top of the right knee. This is even harder because I'm not doing it at the same time. Start drawing a circle with your toes, both directions. So good at mirroring. And then from here, use your right hand to press your toes towards the sole of your foot. I'm sure we know the feet working properly is immensely important for the rest of the body as well. And we go the other way. We're going to pull the toes towards the top of the foot. I actually had a reformer Pilates teacher who would do that for you, and some people loved it and they were like, thank you, and I absolutely hated it. So yes, each to their own. Don't go too deep if it's uncomfortable. And then if you want to, you could take your torso forwards. Of course, that's not for everyone, depends on how your hip is feeling. So you could come halfway down or just tip your self forward a little bit more. Anything that works for you. And it's fine to keep your hands on that knee, leg as well. Good. Now we're going to twist, bringing that right hand or forearm onto the left knee so that the knee doesn't come up too much and that left arm goes up. And we might look up to the ceiling, but that may not be appropriate for everyone, so make sure that it's comfortable for the neck and that you can stay. And always observe your breath. Be aware of the breath. We're going to straighten the spine and still twist, maybe with that arm at the back being a little bit of a leverage there at the backrest, for example. But here you want that spine to be straight as you're twisting. And that is that big difference. It's a nice long stretch into the hip there, which will be quite effective. So if you sit at a desk all day, of course, your hips are going to get a little bit tight. Knees on top of each other and back into, and you can sort of, double bind there as well. And then back to the front, and we bring the left elbow on top of the right. That's the only thing that matters, whether your hands are on your shoulders or together. We press the elbows down, we press the shoulders down, and we may close the eyes. We're more likely to feel what's going on in our body, to focus on our interoception, than we are when we're distracted by the other senses working so hard. For example, our visual sense. And interoception is often related to or sort of associated with do we feel that we're hungry, etc. But it's everything that has to do with the physical body and things that happen, processes in the body. So your heartbeat, your breath as well. Elbows go up and the shoulders do as well. Hands could stay on the shoulders if they were happy there. And then we slowly release, and we twist again, opening up to the same side as before. And we can use that hand at the front to press against the top knee. Again, as before, you're straight in the upper body, and then working on that mobility of the spine. Back to center, and we change sides. No, I have had the idea of shaking it off first. I obviously didn't know that was necessary. Right, so right ankle on top of the left knee, and we start by just gently moving into the ankle by drawing circles with our toes. Hardly visible there, but you get the idea. In both directions. From here again, we do that lovely thing of pulling the toes towards the sole of the foot. Feet also get used to these things. Obviously, you need to work into your toes as well. You want to make sure that all those muscles that you have in your feet actually work for you. And if you constantly wear shoes, especially those that support everything, then your feet obviously don't have to work that hard. And that can cause all sorts of issues. Can go up into the hips as well, for example. So, works to just gently train our toes to do more than they're used to. Now, other way, toes come towards the top of the foot. And at the same time, we don't want to overdo it, because if your body isn't used to something and you then overdo it, then just like with workouts, any other workouts as well, you're likely to do too much and then nothing at all anymore, because you're traumatized by the experience, by how it feels in the body, because we don't want to feel too much. So a little bit goes a long way, and you can go further and deeper every time you do these exercises. Okay, come further down now. You can release your foot, your toes, give them a little rest. And again, it's fine to keep the hands where they were, to keep your torso straight. Maybe just gently tipping the torso forwards from the hip. Please be true. In other words. And then we twist, raising our arm. And if we want to, obviously, we can be much higher than that. So you'll notice here that my, it is my right arm, but if you're mirroring, if I'm mirroring even, then that left hand can be anywhere at all. So here's a few options for that. And right arm goes up, we might look to the side instead, because we may find that more comfortable. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and slowly up to straighten the spine, and then twist as before, but with the spine straight. And you could use that hand at the front to press the knee down, but you don't have to. Just make sure it doesn't rise too high. We're still opening up into that hip. And Keep breathing here in that twist. Keep being aware of the breath. Sometimes when we twist quite deeply, the breath changes. So don't let that happen. Breath is your best friend. It's by your side. It's always there. Knees on top of each other as you come back to the front. Maybe a little double bind here with the top of the foot coming around that supporting leg. And then arms to the front. Right elbow on top of the left. Hands together or onto the shoulders. And we hold. Still pressing down the shoulders and the elbows. It can feel a bit warm, but it shouldn't feel uncomfortable. Please be true. And then raise your elbows and your shoulders. Here on this side, I'm helpfully showing that you can also have your hands on your shoulders. And long breaths. Slowly release and twist, again opening up to the right side here. Maybe that hand at the back is on your backrest, maybe elsewhere. And front arm can press into that top knee, pushing it further over to the left side. Slowly come back to the front and shake off the legs if necessary. And then from here we are going to bring our hands onto our chair and raise our left leg. We're going to flex the foot, still working into the hips now. Little pulses here, raising the heel towards the ceiling, the knee towards the ceiling, going up and down. I should say up and back to where we started from. Quite effective. Looks like nothing and is really, really deep. And we do the same on the other side. And remember, the other side is always a bit harder because your left hip will have already worked quite hard now and is now stabilizing you. So we want to make sure that hips get strengthened as well, rather than just, get stretched. Both is important, obviously. Round your back as you drop that right foot to the ground. Arch your back, look up maybe just to the front. Round your back, drop the head, and arch your back, raise the head. Inhale, raise your right leg, pointing the toes, and bring the foot towards the head. Exhale, knee towards your right armpit or shoulder. Doesn't matter how far you go with this. Just inhale and arch, raising the head and raising the foot. Exhale and round. And listen to your breath. The breath knows best. If it feels comfortable to guide it, you can obviously do that. And this is the slightly smaller range, which is completely fine as well. Other side, inhale and arch, left leg up. And exhale, round, knee to the left side. Inhaling and arching, exhaling and rounding. So how slow or fast you do this is completely up to you, up to your breath, I should say. It needs to work for your breath. Of course, it needs to work for your body as well, for every part of the body. So again, smaller is fine, or big, whatever works for you, within what your body can do, how flexible you are, but also what works for your breath. And if you're not subscribed to my on-demand service yet, then thank you very much for joining. You can find the full class in the description below, or the link to it. And if you're staying, well, come with me.